Live first.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a great Saturday morning. Today we have two ladies that will be joining us, Miss Meredith and Miss Whit.
Good morning.
Morning.
If could you guys introduce yourself, where you're from, where you are right now, and that.
Sure. I am Meredith Ellison. We live in Asheville, North Carolina, over here in the mountains, and just excited to be with you this morning, Sawyer.
Thank you. Whit?
Yeah, I'm Whit Zay, and I live right through the woods from Meredith in Asheville as well. And I'm just so, this is the most fun thing I think I've done in a really, really long time.
Speaking of going to Asheville, we will be flying down there on Tuesday.
Awesome. Are you coming too, Sawyer?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. I'll be glad to give you a high five. That'd be awesome.
Go to.
While he's getting his settings up over here, this is Dad from the side over here. Thank you, ladies, for jumping in here and being with us this morning. And Doug for making pancakes from the side over there. Do you guys? Will you guys kind of introduce? I want to have Sawyer talk to you guys about the ripple and how that is kind of what I believe going to affect the industry in different ways, really, really great ways, but kind of what it is and how and why you came up with it, and kind of introduce that to the world, if you would, on a bigger stage here.
Yeah, sure. So we, if you remember, we had some previous platforms that were branded Thrive, Connect, and Impact. And those three initiatives, platforms, they all kind of had their own brand, their own mission statements, and they really described and kind of brought together our culture for symmetry and for equality. And we decided to kind of move all of those under one umbrella. So to have them turn into more pillars under one big initiative. And that's how Ripple was born. So everything stays the same. We've just dropped the Thrive, the Connect, and the Impact brand. And now we have the Ripple model, which is kind of a high-level, big picture of what our culture looks like, what the equality and symmetry culture looks like. And for us, it's a wholehearted, very authentic culture. And creating the Ripple gives us a roadmap to continue to do that. And it's a very, very data-driven, very heart-centered approach we're really trying to develop healthy people, healthy systems, and thriving communities. So we've got those 3 pillars. So well-being and personal growth was Thrive, previously known as Thrive. So all of that wonderful work around personal development, still there, still a big part of who we are. It just lives under Ripple now. And then we have Women's Plus Empowerment, which was previously Connect, and just amplifying women's voices in the world, and especially in the insurance industry. And then that community outreach is that final pillar, previously Impact. And that's how we're making contributions. That's how we're giving back. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Mary, do you have anything to add to that?
No, that's perfect. I think the only thing, we like to remind everyone, whether you're selling insurance or anything you're doing in this world, is you're always making a ripple. And what we're hoping to do is bring intention and focus to really wanting you to empower yourselves to take back how you're wanting to show up in the world, how you're wanting to make a ripple. So that's kind of where the foundation of the name came from.
Could you guys give me some advice about women that are wanting to start in this business?
Yeah, I think what I love about this business is I think it is perfect for women. I think women love connection. I think women love to make sure families are taken care of. Not that men don't too, but this business just really aligns for men and women, but for women to just step into their full power and to have an opportunity to grow a business. Maybe you don't have to have a certain type of degree or any kind of background, but your love of people and wanting to take care of people sets this up for really anybody to be successful here.
Thank you. Whit, do you have anything?
Oh, wow. That was said beautifully. Yeah. I mean, I think the flexibility for women who have families, I think that's important. And, it's a business that gives you an opportunity to path and to lean into what fills you up, to figure that out. There's definitely like steps to take in this, it's like, okay, this is how the business works, but you can do it in your own way. I mean, it's definitely has that entrepreneurship vibe, right? And, you are a 1099 employee, so you get to drive it the way that you want to. And I think a lot of women right now, that's what they're wanting. They're wanting the flexibility to create their own reality. And this business does that.
Oh, I'm sorry for my voice. I'm a little under the weather this morning.
You sound great. Sorry you're not feeling well, though.
Okay, so what are you guys most excited about for 2023?
You want to go first, Whit?
What am I most excited about? I am most excited about some upcoming vacations personally. Looking forward to getting away in a few months. And then professionally, I am, just really excited about Ripple. The launch of Ripple was right before 2023 started. We launched it in November. And we knew going into the holidays and, the end of the year, there wouldn't be a whole lot of traction with it yet. And so we launched it, let it rest. And then January started and it just is taking off, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. I get to work with my best friend and my husband. Another benefit, going back to your other question, this business affords those kinds of opportunities if you want to work with the people you love. And so I'm grateful that we've got Ripple and can't wait to see where it's headed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, 2023, I do too have a lot of good travel coming up, which we haven't been able to do in the last couple of years. So I'm excited for that. doing it with my family. I'm excited. My oldest daughter is going to college in 2023. And even though it will be a huge adjustment, I'm just so excited for her and her next adventure. And Sawyer, before you know it, and Alex, you're going to be right there. So it's an exciting time. It's a transition for our family, but she's ready, and that makes it a lot of fun. Yes, on a career, I think just continuing to find what feeds me, and Ripple is definitely doing that. More of this kind of connection, Sawyer, is really filling Whit and I up, and looking forward to more of that in 2023.
So about what you said about your oldest daughter going to college, is she thinking about getting an insurance license?
Such a great question. Right now, she's just thinking about going to college and just having that experience. But she's definitely kind of thinking about majoring in the marketing side of things. She's fascinated with that part of the business. And so we're really just encouraging her to find and pay attention to what gives her a lot of energy. Sawyer, like what classes fill her up? Where does she find herself wanting to not leave when the classroom's over, and just start paying attention to that, and then seeing where it takes her.
Yeah, and this work that Meredith and I have been diving into for many years now, but even deeper when you're looking at it professionally, has been great for us raising older children. My oldest went to college last year. He's a freshman this year. And just like Meredith said, we're able to work with this. Parents' generation was like, okay, you go to college. It's like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. But nobody was really talking to us about what fills you up. Like, what could you really see yourself doing? And so we're really having those conversations with our kids so that they're not, just going to get a degree that isn't going to fill them up, that they're using this time to really discover who they are. I'm so grateful to have been doing this work so that I can have those conversations, with the kids.
And just, to just honor you here, Sawyer, the fact that you're 10 and saying this really fills me up and I want to see where this goes, not feeling you have to wait until you're some certain age to do something.
Yeah.
Well done, Alex. Like just create a platform and a situation to see where we thrive as a human. I think is just really cool what you're doing, Sawyer.
Thank you. So Whit, Dad told me that you were recently a cancer battler.
Yeah. Yes, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in November of 2022. I am in remission and still in treatment, which is fun to say.
How has that affected you in the business?
That's a great question. I'm so grateful because the business has allowed me to have flexibility so that I can get to all of my doctor's appointments, and I was able to do treatment without anything changing very much. I can work from home, and on off days when I'm not feeling so great, I can put her in my lap and do what I can, but not stress that I'm not getting something done. So it's been a really positive experience. And again, doing all the work that we do, for our professional development and for our personal development, I think having a foundation there really helps when a challenge like this falls in your lap. It prepares you for these kinds of experiences. And so I'm grateful for what I have learned in the past, and I'm grateful for what I'm learning now, and look forward to what I'm going to continue to learn. It has been a blessing in disguise, and a lot of positive things have come out of it. And it can only go up from here. So that's what I'm planning on doing.
So Meredith, since you've been a really good friend to Whit, and she had cancer, How has that like changed your perspective of the business?
Well, I've had an extraordinary perspective to watch Whit not just walk in this, but how she's danced in it. And, just to watch how we say things like, is this happening to you or is this happening for you? It's easy to say things such as those things until you are hit in the face with a cancer diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
But Whitney has just embodied that so beautifully that it's lifted everyone around her. So, which goes back to what we're talking about in the beginning, Sawyer, of just that ripple of understanding of that taking responsibility of your energy, because it lifts yourself and it lifts others. And if we can see business as a platform for that, then we can change the world, And so, so it's just been just a real honor of a lifetime to see someone you love so much, not just talk the talk, but walk it.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Okay, now I have a fun question.
Oh, good.
Let's change the mood a little bit.
What are your guys' favorite cartoons?
All right, Whit, you go first.
Okay, so my favorite cartoon growing up, hands down, was the Jetsons, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is what's going to happen in like the year 2000. and we don't really have flying cars yet. I think we could, but we have little robots. Like, remember the robot housekeeper?
Oh yeah.
So I mean, Jetsons and the way they would like fly around to school and work, I was like, man, this is amazing.
This one for me, Sawyer, is a little bit harder. On Saturday mornings, we had a different ritual where my dad would load us up in the back of his car back in the 1980s. You can't really get away with this much now. We would get in the back of the car, put the seats down, and we didn't have to wear our seatbelts. I would not advise it, but that's what we did in 1985. Was we'd ride around in the back seat, and he would take us to breakfast every Saturday morning. And that was our family ritual. Still to this day, if I go home, Dad's still going to Saturday morning breakfast with all of his buddies. So it's been going on now for 40 years. So I didn't watch a ton of cartoons, but when you showed the Dennis the Menace cartoon, we loved Dennis the Menace growing up. And so that was definitely one of our favorite. It was a show. There was a cartoon and then there was the show, and that we watched the show a lot. So that was kind of our Saturday morning ritual.
Okay. Thank you guys for sharing that. What have you guys learned about yourself while being in the insurance business?
How long we got here, Sawyer? Let's see. Whit, you got something that comes to mind quickly on that?
The first thing that came to mind was, it's funny. I love my job in the insurance business. Like, so a little background. So Meredith and I have been friends for 20 years, and we always watched them, and we were watching what they were doing when they were with the pre-built this company. We've watched their journey, and at one point Doug thought about becoming an insurance agent. He got the book and all that stuff, and Meredith, when they were kind of working us to come work for them, talking through it with us, Doug and I had always been in nonprofits. And so I was like, well, okay, so I'm going to go to a for-profit company, and I'm going to work for an insurance company. Like, that just wasn't computing in my head, especially with what I'm passionate about and my background. But I'm able to do everything that I love and I'm passionate about in an insurance industry. And so, and then that's what we were talking about earlier. Like, we're able to create our own realities, essentially. And yes, like, I'm not selling insurance, and there's people out there that are selling, but so if you are coming into this and you're selling, you're you can still like create it and make it what you want. That's the beauty of it. And I'm so grateful I've been able to do that. And it has surprised me that I get to do all this amazing culture work for an insurance company. So
Yeah, I think that's pretty close to my answers too, Sawyer, is just is wanting people to kind of feel empowered by the whatever work you're doing. And there's always a way to kind of fill your cup, instead of being, kind of a victim to your circumstances. You kind of become a, when you really understand you are participating and kind of co-creating your reality, the career is just the platform on which you get to do that. And similar to Whit, I, for a long time in the insurance business, Brandon and I started this business 20 years ago together. I did kind of what had to get done, but I didn't necessarily do what filled me up. And until I kind of like took back my power of saying I can bring what fills me up and contribute here, is when it kind of all shifted for me, to where I could kind of dig deeper into my why and my purpose. Yeah. So I think that's kind of my answer as well.
What is your biggest tip for somebody who's trying to get into the insurance business?
This is a good one. I've got a really close friend right now, one of my really closest friends from college, that's starting to want to get in the business. And I told her two things. One is you will go through multiple quitting stages. The key to this business is just don't quit. Most people just quit too soon. And there's been too many stories of success, of pushing through, to not think that can't be you too. And then my second one for her was, you got to get to conferences. This business is something that's more caught than taught. It's a feeling you get. It's an understanding you are part of something bigger than yourself, and a feeling a part of the Symmetry family is a big part of what we do. And I think being in conferences, being in person, like you're coming to next week, there's magic that happens there that can't quite be articulated or experienced anywhere else. So those would be my two pieces of advice.
Before you go, Meredith, what would you say to people who are going through the quitting stage?
Welcome. I think you're taking it serious. I think if you haven't been even here long enough to quit yet, you never gave yourself a good opportunity to make it. And just to know it's part of the journey. And I think so many people think you go through a quitting phase and you might not ever go through a quitting phase again. I think we all experience quitting phases throughout our lifetime. It helps us in our becoming of who we are. It's a shedding of something that's not working, so we can step into more of what is working. I always think people think they can find it outside the answers versus kind of going inward. And sometimes when you're in a quitting phase, I think you can't, breakthroughs come right after breakdowns. So when you're in a breakdown, you're just on that edge of a breakthrough to something else. And so just when you're in the breakdown, just stop and say, thank you. What do I need to learn? And I'm going to have the perseverance and the grit to stay in the grind of it.
Wait, has there been anything that like broke you down right before a breakthrough?
Yeah. Well, yes. I would say, when 2020 hit and the pandemic hit, it was hard on the company. It's hard on all companies. It's hard on all people. And we were just starting Quility, moving all of our staff to a virtual place, agents having to move virtual. I mean, just it was a hard time. And it was a rough few years, I think personally and professionally. And I think those times break you down so that you can build back up. And so I find gratitude in that. And oddly enough, I was breaking down and knew it. I was very aware of what was happening, and then got that cancer diagnosis. The good news is I was on my way back up and had been on my way back up and had a lot of clarity around the breakdown. And then the diagnosis kind of skyrocketed all of that clarity. So it has been just, it's just been amazing to have those breakdowns and to learn from them.
Thank you guys for sharing that. Do you guys have any questions for me?
How long have you been doing this podcast?
October, November.
I think since
5 months.
October. So
Every Saturday morning?
Without missing
That's
a beat.
amazing.
Wow, that's awesome. Sawyer, what kind of what were the decisions or what thoughts did you have that made you want to decide to do this? Like what do you love about this process?
getting to meet people.
Yeah. You just love different kinds of people and talking about their experiences.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
That's really cool. Yes. Where do you see this going for yourself?
I mean, hopefully it will just help me through life.
Yeah. Well,
And I would want to hope that I can keep it for a long time.
That's really cool. I think the more you connect with people, Sawyer, the more hope you'll have in the world. So keep doing it.
Yep, that's right.
We need you.
That's right.
All right. Well, I'm excited to meet you guys next week.
I am too.
Yeah, I'm excited to meet you too. Thank you. We're so honored to be here with you, and just really appreciate you reaching.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
With that North Carolina internet's kicking in.
I know. This wind gets going in these mountains, and it's hard to find a place for clear internet. You would think in 2023 that we wouldn't have this issue, but we still do here.
Thank him again.
Thank you guys for being on.
Awesome. Y'all have a great Saturday.
You too.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thank you, ladies, again. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Alex.
SMC out.